dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Good morning and welcome. Distinguished guests, we present to you the class of 2023. Once again, good morning. Good morning to our graduates, the trustees, our faculty, all the family and friends, alumni and guests who have come here today. I'm Dr. Mary Ellen Gussick. I serve as the Senior Associate Dean for Education at the Lewis Katz School of Medicine. Seated on the stage today are our keynote speaker, the trustees of the university, and university leadership, School of Medicine leadership, faculty, and alumni, many of whom you'll see will participate in this morning's program. I want to extend a warm welcome to our commencement celebration for the 121st graduating class of the School of Medicine at Temple University. Such a special day, and for our graduates, an ending, but also a beginning, an ending to their long journey here and a beginning to the next stage of their career. So let's take a moment to reflect. The members of the class of 2023 come from nearly 24 different states and nearly 24 different countries around the world. Our class has members from different cultures, religions, experiences, language, beliefs, and lived experiences. They've attended more than 90 different undergraduate colleges and universities, and many have come with advanced degrees already to the School of Medicine. They also come with significant work and life experience as researchers, musicians, social workers, athletes, waiters, students, teachers, more. In short, the class of 2023 embodies the rich diversity of talent and experience that adds to the community at the School of Medicine and to the substance of all of our experience being a member of that community. And as you'll hear, to their ambitions to not only serve our community, but beyond the world. It's a joy to celebrate with you all today, class of 2023. We all recognize and appreciate how hard you have worked to earn the degrees that you will be conferred with today. We applaud your determination, your resilience, your humility, and your perseverance. Your achievements truly do fill us with admiration and pride. Now I'd like to start by introducing someone important who takes very special kind of pride in you and your accomplishments. Dr. Amy Goldberg, the Marjorie Joy Katz Dean of the Lewis Katz School of Medicine. Before she comes to the lectern, a few words about her background. Dr. Goldberg is Temple made. She first came to Temple for her residency in general surgery. She left for a brief period of time, which we don't talk about much, when she did her traumatology fellowship in Maryland, but came back and joined the faculty in 1993. And since then, this has been her home. She's been chief of the Division of Trauma and Surgical Critical Care, director of the General Surgery Residency Program, and the Health System Surgeon-in-Chief. But beyond our doors and walls, she's the director of the American Board of Surgery and is a national leader in surgical education. She publishes in leading journals and has contributed to more than 24 texts and chapters. Her reputation is national as an expert trauma surgeon and as a surgical educator. In fact, the American College of Surgeons has named her to the elite group of master surgeon educators from around the world. As those of you who know Dr. Goldberg know, she spent 13 years leading Temple's trauma program, coming face to face in the challenge of Philadelphia's gun violence epidemic. Adamant to make a change, she created innovative violence prevention programs that have garnered national recognition and numerous awards for her work. The Philadelphia Award, which recognizes extraordinarily civic commitment and social responsibility. To say she's passionate about Temple, I think, again, all of those who know us, it's an understatement. It's really hard to say where Temple ends and she begins. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Goldberg.
I know we all really want to stand throughout the whole ceremony, so I'm going to say, why don't you guys sit? All right. Thank you, Dr. Gussick. Trustees, faculty, staff, families, friends, guests, and above all, the class of 2023. What a day, and what a privilege, a joy, and an honor to preside over the commencement of today's graduating class. Graduates, you are to be congratulated. Attaining your professional degree is a pinnacle achievement. It's affirmation of your hard work, your ambition, and your intelligence. It's also testament to something else. And that is what I want to talk about this morning. Your ability to maintain proper focus and perspective, no matter what is going on in the world, which has certainly been a lot. Many good things, including wonderful advances in medicine, but there have been challenging issues as well. Let me mention a few that have happened since your matriculation at the Lewis Katz School of Medicine. The war in Ukraine, the overturning of Roe versus Wade, the emotional, physical, and economic fallout of the pandemic, the continued toll the gun violence epidemic has had on our community and nation. It's not easy to keep your eye on the ball, but you did it, class of 2023. Your commitment to your education, each other, and our community never wavered. In fact, you engaged. You stayed the course. You met, often exceeded the demanding requirements of your degree programs. As if that wasn't enough, many of you participated in advancing our school and advancing equity in our community. This is telling and important. But of course, not surprising to me, because after all, you are Temple made. This reminds me of a book, The Power of One. You may be familiar with this story. In the book, PK learns from his uncle about the power of one, the spirit that allows someone to survive any situation. During a particularly challenging time in his life, when he saw injustices and faced many personal tragedies, PK was reminded that even the most powerful waterfall begins with just one drop of water. That is the power that you can and will harness, and that impact that you will make in your careers. You will see or experience things that are difficult, uncomfortable, unpleasant, and even unjust. My question to you is, how will you react in those moments? Will you harness your power of one? Because you see, when you learn to look past the discomfort of a moment, you discover your true potential. I continue to use my power of one to advance meaningful change for our students, faculty, and community. This hasn't been a one-sided endeavor, though. Each of you in this room has had a hand in guiding my actions. When I became interim dean, you brought things to my attention that needed changed or improved for yourselves and the community. It's the selflessness I've witnessed in this class that makes me proud and gives me hope for the future. Now you must utilize your own power of one to impact your patients. They are relying on you. I want to read you a letter from a physician that was published in a medical journal, and I quote, "I admitted a 49-year-old man to the coronary care unit with prolonged chest pain and ST segment depression. He acknowledged my questions with detachment and sadness. I somehow believed that this had always been his manner, even before he had begun to die. I ordered morphine for his chest pain and he fell asleep. Later he awakened with dyspnea and more chest pain. Physical examination revealed shock, pulmonary edema, and ST segment elevation. We intubated him, did intra-aortic balloon counterpulsation, put him on mechanical ventilation. The man shrunk meekly into the eye of the tempest, whispering before he was intubated only that the pressure in his chest was still there. He was alert minutes before he died, talked to, but untouched by his physician. When my patient died, I realized I had failed him. I could not have prevented his death, but I could have held his hand, an act no less essential. My polished equanimity could have been allowed to crack and crumble a bit. The man died without knowing I cared, unquote. This letter was published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 1984, nearly 40 years ago. But it could happen today. That patient could be your patient. That physician could be you. Medicine advances, our lives change, the world clatters on. But one thing remains constant, the deep human core in all of us that needs connection, kindness, and touch. You learn that doctoring requires knowledge, proper diagnosis, skilled technique, good treatment planning, access to technology, all these things. But none of this is the beating heart of medicine. The beating heart of medicine is your heart, your soul, your hands. Patients won't ask you to recite the Krebs cycle, but they will expect you to care, to look into their eyes, speak with compassion, listen intently without judgment. Even if they are angry, even if they are denying that they have an illness. And believe me, it will happen. All kinds of things will happen. But no matter what is occurring in your life or in the world, when you are with a patient, that patient is the center of the world. So doctor with the full powers of medicine and with the full powers of your humanity. Doctor with the most important tools of all, your heart, your words, your warm human hands, your power of one. Your journey ahead in your residency and beyond will not always be easy, and you will have challenges and doubts. This is all normal. But in these moments of adversity, you need to know or learn quickly who you are, what you believe, and why you're practicing medicine. And then, as many of you have already, you need to stand up and step up as the situation requires. Yes, medicine does ask a lot, but you've got this. As you go out into the world and the careers that await you, I urge you to be confident, be strong, and care deeply with your temple hearts. After all, you are temple made. Harness your power of one and use it to achieve amazing things. Congratulations, class of 2023. You make us so very proud. Thank you. Now it's my great honor to introduce our keynote speaker for commencement, a physician who is a national leader in health equity and healthcare policy advisor. Dr. Ayla Stanford, former regional director of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for the Mid-Atlantic and founder of both the Ayla Stanford Center for Health Equity and Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium. Dr. Stanford is a North Philadelphia native and has been practicing for over 20 years. In fact, she was the director of the Center for Minority Health and Health Disparities at Temple University School of Medicine early in her career. It was at that time I had the pleasure of working with her, and we are thrilled to welcome her back. A graduate of the Penn State College of Medicine, Dr. Stanford is the first Black woman pediatric surgeon trained entirely in the United States. She gained international recognition during the COVID-19 pandemic using the infrastructure of her pediatric surgery practice to create a grassroots organization focused on education, testing, contract tracing, and vaccination in communities devoid of access to care and resources. Her focus on all those disproportionately impacted by COVID-19 saved lives. The Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium directly served over 100,000 people and countless others throughout the reach of their work. Dr. Stanford subsequently opened the ALIS Stanford Center for Health Equity to serve Philadelphia's community with the lowest life expectancy by providing expert health care leading to improved health outcomes. She has received several accolades, including a top 10 CNN Hero in 2021, a 2021 Fortune magazine World's 50 Greatest Leaders, the 2021 George H.W. Bush Points of Light Award, Forbes magazine's Most Influential Women in 2021 and 2022, and the city of Philadelphia even named a street after her. Dr. Stanford is amazing, and we are beyond thrilled to have her here today. She has certainly harnessed her power of one. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Stanford.
All right. Good morning. I mean, come on, good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Goldberg, Dean Goldberg, Board of Trustees, family, friends, for allowing me to share in today's celebration. And congratulations, graduates of the 121st Commencement, receiving your Master of Arts, Master of Science, Doctor of Philosophy, and Doctor of Medicine degrees. On your once-in-a-lifetime day, I want to share with you the value of a Temple University education. Lewis Katz School of Medicine of Temple University, you are a very unique and special class. On this day, you will receive your degree during one of the most trying times in our nation's history. Social injustice, mass shootings, police unruliness, and dangerous environments with which the police are functioning within, lawlessness, apathy, and insurrection, infant formula shortage, monkeypox, low cancer screening, increases in suicide and mental health disease, a global pandemic, additional coronavirus variants, resurgence of disease, RSV of our infants, children, and our seniors, global warming, natural disasters. Any one of these issues and crises would have been enough, but through it all, you sit ready to take on the world, ready to tackle the next event and priority, using the experiences that you learned, undoubtedly the things that you have seen, which will help you be the best providers for your patients, both from the patients you lost and those who triumphed over tragedy. As students, you were part of the care and treatment plans for patients in zip codes with the lowest life expectancy, often communities that are left behind and didn't benefit from all the opportunities our nation has to offer. But you continue to show up day after day, obtaining your education with compassion, preparing for this day. And it's not a surprise to you, brilliant minds and scholars, that this is just the beginning of your learning. Studying and learning never stops. I still read articles on up-to-date treatments and diagnostic findings, my textbooks and notes before operating. That investment that you make as a perpetual learner gives your patients the best of yourself. You want to be master diagnosticians or have strong technical skills. One of my attendings used to say to me, "Your eyes only see what the mind suspects, so continue to feed your mind." There is beauty and power in differences of thought, of culture, language, ethnicity, and economics. The exposure to the differences allows you to think about things differently through a different lens and share that perspective with others to a better understanding that also breeds empathy. And that empathy does lead to better health outcomes as we treat our patients the way we would want to be treated, or someone you love. I noticed several of you are going into gynecology and anesthesia and surgery. We know that the maternal death rates of women of color, particularly Black women, are worst in the United States. You can be a part of changing this statistic because you know what hemorrhage looks like in a person of a darker hue. You may not think that that's a valuable asset, but everyone does not get that where they train. Also, for our anesthesia colleagues, that you don't dismiss when someone has pain, that you don't say, because of a bias or stereotype, their skin is thicker so they don't need as much pain medicine, which some medical students not too long ago thought. I know that that is not true with Temple Made. You have had the opportunity and the privilege to care for the residents of North Philadelphia. That knowledge is power. That knowledge that you learned from your patients are steps towards health equity, better patient experiences, and better health outcomes. We need you. Know that what you learned at Temple, engaging with patients that speak different languages, practice different religions, have different beliefs about what they need for their healthcare delivery, are impacted by violence in their communities, home insecurity, and food deserts, because you know firsthand about the true social determinants of health. That only 20% of what impacts health outcomes occur within the four walls of our hospital. The other 80% that impacts health outcomes are not within a doctor's care, but I challenge each of you to expand your reach outside of the four walls of the building. Medicine has changed and has evolved. No longer can we presume that our duty of first do no harm stops when our patients leave the building. We have to get more involved rather than listing a patient as non-compliant and documenting a no-show. We have to support them and figure out what might work to help get them to their follow-up appointments. And also remember, we don't blame our patients for their disease. As residents, you're gonna wanna do everything under the sun. Volunteering and giving of your time, but you're brand new doctors. So take your time to get to know the lay of the land. There are only 24 hours of a day, and you gotta leave some of that time to take care of yourself. So keep the main thing, and complete your residency and your board certifications. So my takeaway for you is that you recognize the value of the exposure you have had learning in the Temple community and environment. Be a continual learner. Continue to feed your mind. Be selfish sometimes. Take care of yourself and your needs. When you're at work, try to be 100%. I know we have our phones and there's social media, and that can distract us from our patients. Shut it down. Do not multitask on your patients. They are depending on you, and they need you to be 100% in the game. If you have 90 seconds with a patient when you come in to visit, sit down. Look them in the eye. And for my surgical residents, don't peek in the room at 5:30 and 6 a.m. and attempt to round. Turn on the lights. Examine the incisions and wounds. Encourage your patients and family to write a note down to communicate with you in case there's sleep when you come in the morning, the night before. It will be a lot of responsibility, but remember, this is what you went to school for. It's what you wanted. It's what you sacrificed. So enjoy it and promise yourself to find joy in every day of your profession. You were accepted, you studied, you had an acquisition of knowledge, your degree is being conferred, you are legitimate. But there's one final thing I want to ask you to do, and that is acknowledge bias in the building. We all have our inherent biases. That's just being human. But when they are a detriment, that is a problem. Use your moral compass. And when you see care that doesn't smell right, that it's not what you would want for someone you love, please say something. You may not feel comfortable directly approaching a colleague, but there's always some way to report it, to be discussed in quality improvement conferences or morbidity and mortality. These are teachable moments that we can all learn from. We healthcare providers, we have to hold one another accountable. And remember, the eyes only see what the mind suspects. So look for it. It is impacting our health outcomes, but that is on us to correct. That's how we make real change and achieve health equity. 20 plus years ago, I sat where you sit, excited and ready to save the world. Don't lose that feeling. I honestly don't think I ever lost it. It's what ignited me during COVID to do something more because I knew I could. I never would have imagined that it would take me from North Philly to the White House and back. Don't underestimate the power of one idea, one belief, fueled by commitment and passion to care for others, infused with science and data to support your actions. You never know where you might land. So step out on faith, on your fund of knowledge, and know that you too will continue to change the world for the better, one patient at a time. Thank you again, and congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Stanford, for your inspiring remarks and your charge to us, one and all. We so appreciate you being here today, your advocacy, and the work that you have done for our Philadelphia community. Thank you again. Each year, the graduating MD class dedicates its yearbook, The Skull, to an individual who has been especially significant in their education and their lives as a medical student. They select an influential mentor, a trusted and important guide, a teacher, and a friend. In a moment, the editor of The Skull, Alex Rizzo, will present the 2023 yearbook dedication. But first, a word about Alex. He's been an outstanding member of our school community, excelling both academically and as a student leader. He is a member of AOA, the National Medical Honor Society, and in addition to serving as yearbook editor, he's played key roles in many projects and service programs important to the school and to the St. Luke's community. Yesterday, during the school's annual Awards Day celebration that recognized students for outstanding performance, he was named a recipient of the Mary F. Daly Award. In July, Alex will begin his residency in obstetrics and gynecology at Rutgers Cooperman Barnabas Medical Center. Please welcome Alex Rizzo.
Each year, it is a Temple tradition to dedicate our yearbook to a faculty member that has made a significant impact on our journey to this stage. Reflecting on this journey, we can easily take ourselves back to our first weeks in anatomy. The body we all know so well now seems so foreign. Luckily, we chose Temple, which also means we chose faculty members that are committed to helping us succeed. With decades of cellular and molecular research experience, Dr. Stephen Popoff was the perfect person to provide us with the foundation we would use for the rest of our lives. As someone who truly teaches from the heart, his enthusiasm transformed difficult topics into content we could digest and build off of. We were not the only ones to recognize his excellence in teaching. He is a past recipient of both the Golden Apple Teaching Award and the Lindback Foundation Award for Distinguished Teaching, the highest recognition for teaching offered here at Temple. Our 4-year chapter would not have been possible without the teachers who taught us to write. With that being said, it is my honor to introduce Dr. Stephen Popoff.
Alex, thank you for the kind introduction. Graduates, families and friends of the graduates, trustees, faculty, staff, what an incredible honor it is to be standing here in front of the class of 2023 as the yearbook dedicatee. Some of you told me that I made a lasting impression on your class from the very first day of medical school. I remember it well, and I hope you do. While others said that they remembered and appreciated the encouragement and words of advice that I gave and repeated often during Fundamentals 1, your first course in medical school. The heck with learning anatomy, at least you remembered the important things, right? Whatever the reason, I want you to know that I am humbled by your thoughtfulness, for this is one of the highlights of my career, one for which I will always be grateful. Facilitating your learning and interacting with all of you, an exceptionally bright and talented group of students, is both a privilege and a pleasure. In years to come, when you think back to your medical school education, I hope that you remember me as someone who exuded a passion for teaching anatomy. Someone who was genuinely excited every time we discovered an anomaly or variation during dissection, such as a donor with a dual superior vena cava, or a retroesophageal right subclavian artery, or a donor with the horseshoe kidney, or malrotation of the GI tract, and I always made sure that each of you got a chance to see that, understand it, appreciate the variations, understand the developmental basis for those variations, and most importantly, the potential clinical implications for those types of variations. As you move ahead in your careers, I think it is important that you also display a passion for your own work, as that passion or enthusiasm will be contagious to those around you. You will be perceived by your patients as someone who is competent, confident, and compassionate, a doctor who truly cares about them and their health. I would like to go back to some of the advice that I provided early in medical school, since it applies to your next step of residency and beyond. The idea of your well-being and finding a balance between work and taking care of yourselves. In a world where we are constantly connected, it is important to find some time to disconnect, even if really very short, brief periods of time, and to do things that are essential to sustain your own physical and mental health, since this will positively impact your ability to be productive and engaged in the care of your patients. My favorite part of your yearbook is the section titled Superlatives. Most likely to become famous, Daniel Elchediak. Yes, Daniel, I couldn't agree more, and I just hope that you remember us little people when you get there. Most likely to become future dean of LKSOM, Grace Amadio and Arnav Shah. And yes, I can certainly see both of you getting to that point at some time in your career. And by the way, I hope to be retired by then. Most likely to pimp medical students. Kelly Montgomery and Jeremy Mitnick. And yes, I have to tell you, both of them were already practicing on their peers in the fourth year anatomy elective this past February. At the beginning of your medical school journey, I told all of you that you worked very hard to get into medical school and you deserved to be here. And that our role as faculty was to facilitate, or is to facilitate, and ensure your success in meeting the competencies of the MD program. Today marks a huge milestone as you have achieved that goal, and we are here to celebrate your achievement today. Despite the uncertainties and hurdles that you encountered along the way, you persevered and conquered them. You are now ready to go out into the world and treat patients as bona fide doctors of medicine. No more uncertainty, no more feeling like an imposter. Be confident in what you know, and it's far more than what you think you know. And don't be afraid of the unknown, since medicine and medical knowledge are constantly evolving. Keep an open mind and embrace the concept of being a lifelong learner as you continue to learn about new pathogens, diagnoses, and treatments. Go out there and show the rest of the world what it means to be a Temple-made physician. We've heard that term many times, but there's something unique in being a Temple-made physician. I know that you will impress your peers and your colleagues because it is a well-known fact that Temple Medical School graduates are well-trained for the holistic care of their patients. I congratulate all of you. I'm exceptionally proud of each and every one of you, and I wish you all the best throughout your careers. And once again, thank you for this honor of a lifetime, the privilege of being selected as your yearbook dedicatee.
Thank you, Dr. Popoff, for all you do for our students, and thank you, Alex, for introducing him. I will share it's an honor as a faculty member to work with Dr. Popoff every day as well. So now, two additional leaders from the MD class of 2023 will share reflections about their time and about their classmates and their experience going through this time with you. Teresa Tran and Arnav Shah. First, let me tell you a little bit about these outstanding graduates, both of whom I will also say I'm honored to have gotten to know since my time of joining Temple last year. Teresa Tran is an inductee in Alpha Omega Alpha in the National Medical Honor Society. She has served as class president and then as president of the Student Government Association, and has been a driving force and a partner in bringing forth many programs and projects that have benefited the school and her peers and the community at large. Yesterday, during our 2023 Awards Day, which honored, again, exceptional students and faculty, she was honored with a well-deserved School of Medicine Service Award. In July, she will begin her residency in dermatology. She'll complete her residency at Temple University Hospital. After Ms. Tran speaks, will be Arnav Shah, another graduate of considerable accomplishment and energy. He too is a member of Alpha Omega Alpha, the National Honor Society, and also a member of the Gold Humanism Honor Society. He has served his classmates as president of your class, the class of 2023. In recognition of his many contributions, he too was awarded a School of Medicine Service Award at the awards ceremony yesterday. Mr. Shah will begin his residency in otolaryngology at Rush University Medical Center in July. So it's my pleasure to welcome Ms. Teresa Tran.
Before I start, I just wanted to ask if there are any doctors in the house. Upon entering medical school, none of us could have ever imagined what our experience would be. It was both the best of times and the worst of times. And it changed us in many ways we never expected it to. After sitting through many 6-hour-long medicine rounds, facing the behemoth of boards exams twice, learning never ever to touch the scrub nurse's sterile table, and developing a newfound comfortability with other people's bodily fluids. 2 words, shoe covers. We now finally emerge with our medically wired brains. Seriously, I constantly have to remind myself that every stomachache is not appendicitis. But beyond the medical knowledge we worked so hard to acquire, we also learned cultural humility, the understanding of people's differences and life circumstances. We learned humanity for patients and for each other as colleagues. We learned to listen, how to deduce and reason, and how to empathize. There is a general conception that a good medical student is one who excels in the classroom and on the hospital floor. However, this is only one part of the definition. From confronting the opioid epidemic alongside the global pandemic, to coming together during social and political movements, we not only learned to become intelligent physicians, educators, and scientists, we became agents of change, voices that advocate for our education, our patients, and for justice. We became community members, supporting our neighbors and local businesses. As the world underwent historic change, we engaged with it all while experiencing our own personal journeys through medicine. I am so grateful to be here today, together and in person. Thank you to everyone that inspired us to forge on in the face of difficult circumstances. Today, we celebrate our accomplishments and express gratitude towards all the people that have influenced our journey to becoming doctors. A special public thank you, of course, to my family, my partner, friends, and their supportive families, mentors, patients, and faculty. And thank you, of course, to my colleagues. You have all taught me so much about myself and the world around us. Lastly, though medical school may be the final step in your formal academic journey, do not let it be the end of your education. Medicine will change in ways that we cannot predict, ways that no Anki Dex can ever prepare us for. However, we know we can handle it just as we handled medical school, COVID, and every other challenge over the past 4 years. As we depart into different specialties and career paths, keep in mind the hardships you faced and will face, but do not let that limit what you can and will achieve. I salute my colleagues here for making a difference at every level of society. It was an honor to serve as your SGA president. I wish you all the greatest success. Now let's go make the world a better place. Thank you.
It is with great pleasure and gratitude that I stand before you today as a future graduate of this esteemed institution. As we celebrate this important milestone in our lives, I'm reminded by the enormous responsibility that comes with being a physician. I also reflect upon meaningful lessons. One such important learning moment for me was the feedback I received at the end of my family medicine rotation in Lancaster. Identifying an area for growth, the site director encouraged me to be mindful of managing uncertainty in medicine. He defined that as the tendency to perceive uncertain situations as threatening. In this area, I struggled greatly. How to effectively counsel patients with frightening new diagnoses, how to effectively prepare for a new rotation, and how to even pick the specialty that will define my career. As we continue to grow and learn as doctors, we will not only confront situations that force us to assess a diagnosed world in terms that aren't simply black and white, right or wrong. We must therefore strive to find beauty and meaning in gray areas, and revel in the nuances and complexities that make medicine not just a science, but an art. A medical school graduation speech would not be complete without quoting Atul Gawande. As a proud Gawande, I'm excited to share that with you. He writes, "The core predicament of medicine, the thing that makes being a patient so wrenching, being a doctor so difficult, and being part of a society that pays the bills so vexing, is uncertainty. Thus, as we begin our clinical careers, solidifying our knowledge of treatment protocols, and developing our procedural prowess, we must also develop our skills in the art of treating humans, thinking critically by challenging heuristics, and dealing with ambiguity. That is the art of medicine." Throughout our educational experience at Temple, we've lived through an unprecedented time of change and uncertainty. Just 6 months after starting medical school, COVID disrupted almost every aspect of our society. At that point, we were educated enough to understand the pathophysiology of SARS-CoV-2 attacking type 2 pneumocytes, but we lacked the clinical skills to actually help people affected by the illness. COVID forced us to simultaneously confront the health of entire communities and our own wellness. Our time in medical school also required us to adjust to novel methods of learning virtually, grappling with social reform and the fight for racial justice, and even changes in the leadership of this institution. These experiences equipped us with strategies to deal with this concept of uncertainty in medicine, and I feel confident that our class is uniquely dispositioned to addressing it in our future practice. In this time, we learned that admitting uncertainty is not a sign of weakness, but rather a demonstration of humility and honesty. We learned how to open transparent modes of communication, ask critical questions to advance the knowledge in our fields. We learned how to adapt to scenarios where nearly on a daily basis, new knowledge dramatically changed and challenged assumptions we held to be true. We learned how to step up as leaders to distribute supplies and information to under-resourced communities and act as advocates, advocating for those whose voices have been silenced. We learned how to rely on our peers, our families, and friends for support. And we also learned to trust ourselves and the foundations that we have painstakingly built as students. As we start our residency training, I wanted to refresh our memories in the challenges that we tackled and the lessons that we learned from them. Undoubtedly, we will navigate the uncertain terrain of healthcare delivery, insurance, health policy reforms, rapidly evolving technologies, and the next pandemic. But I am confident that by embracing the principles that shepherded us through the last 4 years, we are equipped to be adaptable and flexible, to be willing to learn and embrace change, and to be resilient in the face of certain uncertainty. It's been an honor to serve as your class president, and let's go answer some questions.
Thank you, and I'll say it this way for the last time, Ms. Tran and Mr. Shaw, for your wonderful remarks and for your exemplary leadership that you've provided to the class and for the school. Now, this morning's ceremony will continue with perhaps the moment you've all been waiting for, the conferring of degrees. Yeah. So first, the degrees will be conferred, and this will be followed by a presentation of academic hoods and diplomas to the graduates. First, you may have noticed I said diploma documents, or did I? Not diplomas, but as a matter of policy, we no longer do printed diplomas today, but instead, you will get them online. I promise they will be mailed to you. They're in the mail. The envelopes, though, that Dr. Goldberg will hand to you are congratulatory notes to you. Again, reconfirming our pride in all of you and all you have achieved. The printed program this morning includes the names of all of our students who will graduate today, as well as those who have recently received their degrees. And third, here's the part I have to say out loud. A professional photographer will take pictures of each graduate as they're hooded and receive their envelopes, and they'll be made available to you, so we please ask you to remain seated during the presentation. And we do ask you to try to hold your applause, and I underscore try, when you see your graduates, so that everybody will be able to hear every graduate's name. We will absolutely cheer and applaud them all at the end. But first, a brief explanation. First, Dean Goldberg and Temple University trustee, Ms. Marina Katz, will confer the degrees officially. Then we will proceed with an academic ceremony that consists of hooding each graduate, which will take place right in front of you. After being hooded, the graduates will receive their envelopes at center stage from Dean Goldberg. And of course, continuing another wonderful Temple tradition, graduates who have close family members and who are alumni, faculty, or administrators in the School of Medicine will be hooded by those family members. Then graduates will officially be welcomed to the Alumni Association by the former president of the Alumni Board, Dr. Joan Zeidman. So let's get to it.
Will the candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Science, Doctor of Medicine, and Doctor of Philosophy please rise? Trustee Katz, these candidates have completed all designated academic requirements and are recommended by the faculty of the School of Medicine to receive the degrees they have earned.
Thank you, Dean Goldberg, member of graduating class 2023, by the authority vested in me in the Board of Trustees of Temple University, and on behalf of the university and the board, I am honored to confer upon each of you the Master of Art, Master of Science, Doctor of Philosophy, and Doctor of Medicine degree, which you have earned with all the rights, honor, privilege pertaining thereto. Symbolically of your degree having been conferred, please move your tassels to the left side of your tabs. Congratulations to all of you.
So you can sit down. Thanks. So now the next section is devoted to hooding and distribution of diplomas to the graduates who have just been conferred with their degrees. Traditionally, we begin these with the Master of Arts or Master of Science degree, followed by the recipients of the Doctor of Philosophy or PhD degrees. Presiding over this part of the program is Dr. Diane Soprano, Professor of Medical Genetics and Molecular Biochemistry, and Associate Dean for Graduate and MD PhD programs. Dr. Soprano.
Thank you, Dr. Gusick. Our ceremony will continue with the presentation of academic hoods and diplomas to our The next section of the program is devoted to the distribution and hooding of diplomas to graduates. It is great pleasure to greet you and to begin the part of the program that I know you've been eagerly awaiting. As we begin, I'm sure that many of you would like to come forward to take pictures of your favorite graduates. As Dr. Gusick has said, this hall is large and very crowded today. It will not be possible for you to do so. Therefore, we arranged for photographers over here to take pictures of each graduate as they are hooded and meet Dr. Goldberg at center stage. Copies of these photographs will be sent to graduates. The university commencement exercises are held only once a year in the month of May. But many of the students in our master's and doctoral programs completed their work earlier in the year and are already working at locations around the world. Typically, these new graduates will undertake challenging humanitarian and biomedical problems facing society. Some will work as healthcare professionals in a host of primary and specialty clinical settings. Some will work to mitigate the negative social determinants of health and healthcare disparities. Some will conduct translational research in academic, commercial, or government laboratories, while others will educate future generations of students or continue their own education by entering professional or graduate schools. In this academic year, 103 degrees were earned, 13 Master of Arts, 35 Master of Medical Sciences, 7 Master of Science, 17 Doctor of Philosophy, and 31 Doctor of Medicine, Master of Art combined degrees. I will present only the Master degrees candidates and PhD degree candidates now. We are fortunate to have 5 of our masters and 7 of our doctoral graduates able to be here today. I now ask the students to step on the stage and the hooders to come to the hooding area. The academic regalia includes a hood with a border that distinguishes each degree. For the Master of Arts, the hood has a white border. For the Master of Science, has a gold border, while the dark blue represents the Doctor of Philosophy. The cherry and white hood lining are colors of Temple University. In keeping with Temple tradition, the PhD graduates are wearing gold tassels on their tams. The advisors will hood their students on the side of the stage to the audience left. As we call their names, the graduates will come forward. After being hooded, the graduates will meet Dr. Goldberg at the center stage. We begin with those students who have earned the Master of Arts in Urban Bioethics. Megan Healy. Advisor and hooder, Dr. Whitney Cabney. Juliet Palin. Advisor and hooder, Dr. Nora Jones. Evan Thornburg, advisor and hooder, Nicole Strand. We will continue with those students who have earned a Master of Science in Biomedical Science. Ramesha Hashmi, advisor and hooder, Xavier Grania. Ali Heller, advisor, Zenji Yang and Nora Engel, hooder, Xavier Grania. Now we will present those students who have earned the Doctor of Philosophy degree in Biomedical Sciences. Dr. Daniel Farkas. Advisor, Dr. Scott Rawls. Hooder, Dr. Diane Langford. Dr. Scott Gross. Advisor and Hooder, Dr. Jonathan Sobolov. Dr. Jocelyn Johnson, Advisor and Hooder, Dr. Steve Hauser. Dr. Yijia Lee, Advisor and Hooder, Dr. Stephen Hauser. Dr. Jake Robinson, Advisor and Hooder, Dr. Tricia Bordeaux. Dr. Caitlin Tice, Advisor and Hooder, Dr. Diane Langford. And Dr. Jason Wasserman, Advisor and Hooder, Dr. Xavier Grania. Ladies and gentlemen, let us applaud the recipients of the MA, MS, and PhD degrees.
Congratulations, graduates, and thank you, Dr. Soprano. Our ceremony will now continue with the presentation of academic hoods and diploma documents to the physician graduates. As with our graduate students, the hooding will take place on the stage directly to my left, and a dark green velvet trim of the hood will be hooded by the faculty. This dark green hood matches the trim of the doctoral robe, which symbolizes the medical profession. The cherry and white lining of the hood are colors of Temple University. After being hooded, the graduates will again receive their diploma documents at the center stage and be welcomed to the Alumni Association by Dr. Joan Zeidman. I will ask the stage participants to take their place and the first student to come forward. Again, we'll ask the audience to remain in their seats. Photos will be taken, and we'll start with those students who have earned both the MD and the Master's of Arts in Urban Bioethics degrees. Just a reminder, the master's degree program trains students in the ethics and values of health, healthcare delivery, health law and policy, underlying the urban context of diversity and health disparities. Assisting in this hooding of the MA recipients is their faculty advisor. Being hooded by her advisor, Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. Bianca Abudefe. Hooded by her advisor, Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. Grace Amadio. Hooded by Professor Nicole Strand, Dr. Herschel Cannon. Hooded by Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. Frank Cedeno. Hooded by Dr. Kathy Reeves, Dr. Houston Curtis. Also being hooded by Dr. Kathy Reeves, Dr. Clifton Dietrich. Being hooded by Professor Nicole Strand, Dr. Heidi Ding. Being hooded by Dr. Kathy Reeves, for Dr. Schuyler Edwards' advisor, Dr. Sharon Heading. Dr. Schuyler Edwards. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dr. Cosby. Okay, now I'm going to look each time. Being hooded by Dr. Whitney Caby, Dr. Erica Fish. Being hooded by Dr. Brian Toohey, Dr. Amanda Foote. Now this time I think I'll get it right. Hooded by Dr. Kathy Reeves, for advisor Dr. Sharon Herring, Dr. Hannah Schwartz Foster. Being hooded by Dr. Kathy Reeves, for advisor Dr. Peter Simonson, Dr. Eric Ramslow. Being hooded by Professor Nicole Strand, Dr. Komal Galati. Being hooded by Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. DeAndrew Gersay. Good. Being hooded by Dr. Kathy Reeves, Dr. Bryson Hoover Hankerson. Being hooded by Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. Chase Jennings. Being hooded by advisor Dr. Cornelius Pitts, Dr. Jessica Kerstetter. Being hooded by Professor Nicole Strand, Dr. Asher Mendel. Being hooded by Dr. Brian Toohey, Dr. Ariana Merzada. Being hooded by Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. Cassandra Mosek. Also being hooded. Also being hooded by Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. Victoria Moores. Being hooded by Professor Nicole Strand, Dr. Tyler Najak. Being hooded by Dr. Brian Toohey, Dr. Nadia Namus. Being hooded by Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. Brianna Neidig. Being hooded by Professor Nicole Strand, Dr. Rachel Odusanya. Being hooded by Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. William Oley. Being hooded by Dr. Melanie Cosby, Dr. Adetutu Alowu. Being hooded by Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. Joshua Rosenberg. Okay. Being hooded by his father, Dr. Amit Shah, from the class of 1991, Dr. Anav Shah. Being hooded by Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. Tiffany Smith. Being hooded by Dr. Cornelius Pitts, Dr. Kiathi Somayaji. Perfect. Being hooded by Dr. Nora Jones, Dr. Agnes Bailey Sperry. Being hooded by Dr. Brian Toohey, Dr. Megan Swyron. Thank you. Also being hooded by Dr. Brian Toohey, Dr. Adeola Togan. Thank you. We will now continue with those who have earned the MD degree. Putting the first group of MD graduates are Dr. Melanie Cosby, Assistant Professor from the Center of Urban Bioethics, and Dr. Lawrence Kaplan, Professor of Medicine and our Associate Dean for Interprofessional Education. Dr. Kwasi Abwaje. Hooded by her brother, Dr. Joseph Ahern, class of 2020, Dr. Olivia Ahern. Dr. Hamad Al-Daham. Dr. Anthony Amalfitano. Dr. Eric Henning Ander. Dr. Anthony Ascoli. Dr. Nicholas Babu. Dr. Kimberly Barr. Dr. Christian Barrett. Dr. Rebecca Bates. Dr. Nathan Billett. Dr. Victoria Bueller. Dr. Arvin Busetti. Hooded by her mother, Dr. Carolyn Carey, from the class of 1983, Dr. Kelsey Carey. Dr. Annie Caswell. Hooded by Dr. Douglas Klein from the class of 1986 and his brother, Dr. Michael Klein, from the class of 2017, Dr. Seth Klein. Dr. Tyrone Coleman. Dr. Caitlin Copetti. Dr. Mercedes Diane. Dr. Alexa Deemer. Dr. Efwa Kitcher DeGraff Johnson. Dr. Daniel Del Alcazar. Dr. Abigail Dugo. Dr. Nicholas Echeverria. Dr. Daniel Alchediak. Dr. Joseph Evans. Dr. Adriana Facciano. Dr. Shanice Ferguson. Dr. Caleb Foster. Being hooded by her mother, Dr. Lynn Gardella, from the class of 1987, Dr. Rebecca Gardella. Dr. Heena Gasesu. Dr. Shruti Gohimukala. Dr. Virginia Gonzalez. Dr. Robert Graffine. And now I'd invite the second group of hooders. Hooding the second group of MD graduates are Dr. Robert Bedecker, a professor of medicine, and Dr. Hannah Raverby, associate professor of medicine and assistant dean of academic coaching. Dr. Kathleen Gravaran. Dr. Melissa Gunchenko. Dr. Emma Gutierrez Clausen. Being hooded by her sister, Dr. Caitlin Hamilton from the class of 2020, Dr. Kendall Hamilton. Dr. Emily Hansen. Dr. Britton Hankins. Dr. Bryce Hill. Dr. Stephen Hopkins. Hooded by his father, Dr. Richard Hoy from the class of 1988, Dr. Robert Hoy. Hooded by her father, Dr. Lawrence Iannarone, class of 1979, Dr. Victoria Iannarone. Dr. Nivedita Indranathan. Dr. Daniel Yeager. Dr. Liz James. Dr. Aaron Jarvis. Dr. Rachel Jenkins. Hooded by his sister, Dr. Seher Jassani, from the class of 2018, and his brother, Dr. Hassan Hassani, class of 2021, Dr. Hussein Hassani. Dr. Christina Julian. Dr. Alexander Kaufman. Dr. Ann Carney. Dr. Alexander Kervin de Volkersbeck. Dr. Alexis Kim. Dr. Tech Kim. Dr. Ivana Kohut. Dr. Zachary Lauer. Dr. Emily Lavelle. Dr. Brianna Lee. Dr. Julia Leap Lazar. Dr. Gabrielle Limardo. Dr. Brooke Lipton. Dr. Ramses Long. Dr. Troy Lovett. Dr. Samuel Malin. Hooded by his mother, Dr. Amaravani Mandalapu, geriatric medicine at St. Luke's University Health Network, Dr. Sai Mandalapu. Dr. Leah Manoj. Hooded by his father, Dr. John Marcellus, class of 1987, Dr. Tristan Marcellus. Hooding the next group of MD graduates are Dr. Ikemefuna Okosoba, Assistant Professor of Surgery, and Dr. Noah Levinson, Assistant Professor of Clinical Neurology. Dr. Christopher Markison. Dr. Rebecca Maeda. Dr. Maxwell McKee Proctor. Hooded by his brother, Dr. Matthew McClarney, class of 2018, Dr. Brett McClarney. Hooded by her father, Dr. John McMurtry, class of 1990, Dr. Shyla McMurtry. Dr. Brandon Merkert. Dr. Jeremy Mitnick. Dr. Onyinyechi Magoo. Hooded by her mother, Dr. Hong Tran, class of 1996 internal medicine residency, and her father, Dr. Kyle Montgomery, Temple Family Medicine, Dr. Kelly Montgomery. Dr. Sudeep Mutiala. Dr. Vineet Naren. Dr. Adam Newland. Hooded by her father, Dr. Ming Nguyen, cardiology at St. Luke's University Health Network, Dr. Caitlin Nguyen. Dr. Tiffany Nguyen. Dr. Jeanette Nicosia. Dr. Margaret O'Brien. Dr. Amal Oladuja. Dr. Dennis Alungru. Dr. Ozichi Ozwaha. Hooded by her father, Dr. Salvatore Palumbo, class of 1994, Dr. Paige Palumbo. Dr. Juliet Penacella. Hooded by her grandfather, Dr. Gerald Pfeiffer, class of 1965, Dr. Abigail Panaton. Dr. Paolo Parench. Dr. Arthi Patel. Dr. Meha Patel. Dr. Megan Patton. Dr. Zachary Pellis. Dr. Edwin Perez. Dr. Amanda Parola. Dr. Anthony Poltronetti. Hooded by his mother, Dr. Mary Pronovost, class of 1990, and Associate Professor of Surgery at Temple University Hospital, and his father, Dr. Paul Pronovost, class of 1993, Internal Medicine Residency, and Associate Professor of Medicine at Temple University Hospital. Dr. Henry Pronovost. Hooded by her father, Dr. Ravi Shankar Raman, Assistant Professor of Surgery at Temple University Health System, Dr. Swathi Raman. Dr. Julian Rana. Dr. Alexander Razin. Dr. Sarah Ribscheid. Putting our next group of MD graduates are Dr. Manuel Puente, Assistant Professor of Family Medicine and Interim Assistant Dean of Student Support, and Dr. Stephen Popoff, Professor of Biomedical Education and Data Science. Dr. David Reiter. Dr. Henry Clay Resweber. Dr. Stephen Rode. Dr. Devin Riggs. Dr. Maura Risk. Dr. Alex Rizzo. Dr. Hannah Roach. Hooded by his father, Dr. Gene Salkine, class of 1979, Dr. Julian Salkine. Dr. Axel Schlossberg Pereira. Dr. Genevieve Schmidt. Dr. Alexander Shazad. Dr. Thomas Shoemaker. Dr. Nikki Stansberry. Dr. Jennifer Sykes. Dr. Stephen Tessier. Dr. Shun Thengi. Hooded by his mother, Dr. Robin Gansner, class of 1989, residency in physical medicine and rehabilitation, Dr. Connor Tom. Dr. Teresa Tran. Dr. Barbara Euphemia Zausis. Hooded by her mother, Dr. Elizabeth Ann Sun, class of 1976, Dr. Sarah Tupcham. Totally fine. Dr. Ariana Vargas. Dr. Navitha Vemula. Dr. Nancy Elise Venter. Hooded by his father, Dr. Robert Vigiano, class of 1980, Dr. Matthew Vigiano. Hooded by his father, Dr. Andrew Fishman, class of 1977, Dr. Justin Vu. Dr. Nigel Wong. Hooded by her brother, Dr. Timothy Wilson, class of 2016, Dr. Lily Wilson. Dr. Carmen Wyndham. I think I'll still call his name if that's okay. Dr. Demetrius Woodard. Yeah. Dr. Clara Woods. Dr. Andrew Xanthus. Dr. Timothy Young. Dr. Hong Hong Zong. Dr. Shudren Zhang. Should do reverse order in here. Dr. Brooke Zlotschauer. Faculty, family, and friends, let us salute our graduates in medicine, urban bioethics, and the biosciences, the class of 2023.
Good morning. Good morning. So my name is Shaden Eldekar-Hein, and I am the Senior Associate Dean at the Regional Campus of the Lewis Katz School of Medicine up in Bethlehem. And I crossed this stage 16 years ago, hooded by Dr. Sterling. So congratulations, graduates. What an amazing privilege and pleasure I have today as the first to speak to you following your amazing graduation. Congratulations, doctors and scientists. It's also my privilege to introduce the Oath of Hippocrates. This vow, taken by physicians, defines the covenant of trust and privacy established between physicians, patients, and families. With their MD degrees now in hand, our graduates will recite the oath today as physicians for the very first time. Right now, I'm delighted to introduce a member of the class of 2023 and the class president at the St. Luke's Regional Campus to lead her classmates in reciting the oath, Dr. Adriana Facciano. There was more to read, I'm sorry. Dr. Facciano has been honored with the Lewis Katz School of Medicine 2023 Service Award, and in July, she will begin her residency in emergency medicine at St. Luke's University Health Network. Welcome. All right.
Oh, I've been having all the feels since Abby's grandfather hugged her. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Physician classmates, would you please stand at this time? And we also invite all current physicians present today to stand and join us in reciting this oath, which may be found at the front of your program. And Dr. Eldekar-Hein and I are going to lead you in the oath. I do solemnly swear by that which I hold most sacred, that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine and just and generous to its members, that I will leave my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor, that into whatsoever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick, to the utmost of my power, I holding myself aloof from wrong, from corruption, and from the tempting of others to vice, that I will exercise my art solely for the cure of my patients, and will give no drug, perform no operation for a criminal purpose, even if solicited, that whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of others, which is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep inviolably secret. These things I do promise, as I am faithful to this oath. May happiness and good repute be ever mine, the opposite if I shall be forsworn. Congratulations to my classmates. I just want to say it's been an honor to learn beside you for the past 4 years, and I wish you all the best of luck in your futures. Be excellent.
So please be seated. And this, our esteemed graduates and everybody who's participated in today's ceremony and all of those who have come to see and celebrate with us. This concludes commencement. We want to acknowledge just some of the people who have helped make the graduates' education and today's ceremonies a success. The Temple University Board of Trustees, President and Provost, the School of Medicine Dean, all of the Dean's staff, the faculty, and all of the administrative staff who you have seen today, making sure that everything goes smoothly. Our alumni and supporters, our organists and singers, our interpreters, the staff of the Kimmel Center, and of course, the graduates themselves. And you, everyone in the audience here to watch today, the families and friends who have supported them along the way. Your support means everything, and we applaud you. The class of 2023 is about to recess. Guests, we ask that you remain in the auditorium until the recessional is complete, and then you may meet your graduates in the lobby. Everyone, please stand for the recessional. Thank you all, and congratulations once again to the class of 2023.